After the crash, I clearly remembered everyone, but the doctor insisted I had amnesia. She was the nation's leading brain specialist. When I questioned her, she firmly maintained, "Mr. Fang, you must have forgotten someone." Holding my laptop, I complained to my childhood friends. To Anuo, my childhood friend, and Shen Youchu, my childhood sweetheart. That doctor's really covering for herself. I've seen everyone I was supposed to these past few days. If this person were really that important, wouldn't you know who it was? Anuo silently glanced at Shen Youchu. Shen Youchu seemed to think of something. She froze for a moment, then slowly smiled. Exactly. You remember everything that matters. How could that be amnesia? We immediately agreed. I was ready to leave the hospital. The day I was due to be discharged, an unexpected visitor suddenly burst into my room. She looked travel-worn, her beautiful face exhausted, as though she'd rushed in from far away. When she saw me in my hospital gown, she stopped at the doorway. Her expression was complicated. "Fang Yuan, I'm too late. I didn't know it was real this time. I'm sorry." The grief in her lovely eyes seemed heartbreakingly real. Her shattered vulnerability made her even more beautiful. Her beauty struck me speechless. I didn't dwell on what she meant. "No problem. Come in and talk. It's cold outside." Perhaps seeing how kind I was, the tension in her eyes eased slightly, but she was pushing her luck. She actually grabbed my arm. "How are your injuries?" She was certainly attractive, but I hated strangers touching me. Frowning, I pried her hand away. "I'm recovering well, but do we know each other?" As soon as I said it, a long silence followed. She stood up, staring at me strangely. Her beautiful brows were tightly drawn. "Fang Yuan, are you still angry with me?" I admit, leaving for England was sudden. I didn't discuss it with you, but this isn't the time for us to fight. I took a red-eye flight back. "I'm exhausted. Please stop fighting with me." "Okay." She gave a detailed, convincing account. She kept calling me Fang Yuan. She clearly acted like she knew me. Besides, she'd been allowed in. The trained women in black stationed outside hadn't stopped her. That meant she really was someone I knew. Before she could finish, I suddenly understood and pressed the nurse call button. It felt like I'd exposed the mole. I was oddly moved. "Cancel my discharge." The victim I'd forgotten seems to have appeared. Anuo, who was handling my discharge, rushed over in a panic. First, he glared at the two helpless security guards. Taking an indirect jab at her, he snapped, "Why are you letting every stray cat and dog in?" Then he shielded me protectively. "Zhou Ruyan, you've got some nerve showing up." Anuo was a refined young master from an educated family. Hearing him swear, I slowly straightened up. This was clearly more serious than I'd thought. "I've been abroad past 2 days. Only yesterday did I have time to check the news back home." That's when I learned Fang Yuan's accident was real. Zhou Ruyan stood beneath the fluorescent lights. The cold white light revealed in her dark eyes a glaring, unmistakable regret. From Anuo's words, she didn't seem like a good person. "Get out. The kid's grown up. And now you remember to feed him? The King dynasty is long gone. And now you want to attend court. What does this have to do with you? Who are you putting on an act for?" My childhood friend gave a cold laugh. He was clearly not done venting. Pointing in her face, he drove her toward the door. "You think no one knows? You went abroad to accompany that frail, helpless, fake innocent childhood friend of yours while he studied. What? Did he fake being sick again just to summon you?" The silent Zhou Ruyan reacted as if he'd touched a nerve. Her face changed at once. "Watch your mouth. I did those things. Zhiqiang never did anything to you. Take it out on me." That's exactly what I was waiting for. "I finally got my hands on you, you ungrateful bastard. I've been wanting to put you in your place." The person answering Zhou Ruyan wasn't Anuo. It was a lazy, dismissive female voice. Shen Youchu, whom I'd sent downstairs for my package, had appeared at the ward door without anyone noticing. She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth and had always done as she pleased. Before Zhou Ruyan could speak, her smile vanished. She slapped her across the face. Shen Youchu was a tough, fearless woman. She often boxed at the gym. Her body was all lean muscle, and her strength was frightening. To Anuo's delighted laughter, Zhou Ruyan fell to the floor. I was discharged, just as I'd wanted. Zhou Ruyan was admitted instead. I badgered Anuo the whole way home, but he remained silent about everything concerning Zhou Ruyan. But I could use Baidu. I wasn't sure how to spell Zhou Ruyan's name, but she was famous enough for it to appear as a default keyboard suggestion. No wonder. She was a celebrity, and if she needed it, supporting her career wouldn't be a big deal. After all, Shen Youchu had beaten her up without asking questions. She hadn't pressed charges. If this really went to the police, Shen Youchu would get a family beating bad enough to make her howl, and I'd be the one dealing with the headache. Giving her some opportunities as thanks would be effortless. As I scrolled, I saved several photos from Weibo of her that were to my taste. Then I kept seeing my name in her comments and fan discussion page. My smile finally froze. I am shipping them so hard. Look at this photo a friend took at university of Zhou Ruyan and our brother-in-law Zhiqiang walking across campus together. Sob, sob, sob. Our true love is fucking unbeatable. Don't hold this against me. I'm suddenly glad that Jinx got hospitalized after his accident. Otherwise, When would our queen have had time to see her man? Seeing that Jinx chased Zhou Ruyan for so many years never made me feel a thing. But seeing our brother-in-law beside Zhou Ruyan with that perfect chemistry somehow makes my heart ache. Of course, only toxic solo fans lose it over the real brother-in-law. Everyone, take it easy. When that Jinx wakes up and sees this after his accident, he won't shut down our fan page in a rage, will he? After all, Shanghai's #1 young master has influence and resources to spare. Honestly, I don't think we should hate Fang Yuan so much. He played a huge part in helping our queen overcome every obstacle and stand before us today. They're the same age. Why make things hard for each other? That's hilarious. Can you mindless rich people worshippers just get lost? That Jinx used money to break up a young couple and force our queen to date him. You think he deserves sympathy? If the genders were reversed, this would have over 10,000 comments. It took me a moment to understand. I was the Jinx the fans wanted, dead more than anything. The comments revealed an overwhelming amount of information. I pieced most of it together. Still reeling, I immediately shut off my phone and ran out to find a nuo. I had to get a clearer picture. So you're saying that because of Zhou Ruyan, I really used to be that unhinged? After listening to Nuo's 2-hour non-stop recap, I was completely stunned. I'd actually, for Zhou Ruyan, slapped a business partner in public. Zhou Ruyan was a beautiful disaster. Furious, I frantically deleted the photos I just saved and unfollowed her on Weibo. Now that I have feelings about her, that face I just thought was breathtaking now seemed utterly bland. It did not even compare to Shen Youchu. Nuo had talked himself hoarse. He gulped down a mouthful of water, looking deeply aggrieved. You lost your memory. Why should I have to relive all those awful memories? For the first time, my amnesia felt real. When it came to that part of my past, my mind truly held nothing but a strange blank. Then I really did use my power to bully people, playing the homewrecker who tore childhood sweethearts apart. Bullshit. Nuo slammed his water glass onto the glass table. That fake innocent Zhiqiang looked down on Zhou Ruyan for being poor at first. He never accepted her feelings. You poured money into making Zhou Ruyan famous, and only then did he come running back to her. How does that make you a homewrecker? He gave me a sideways glance. You're giving yourself too much credit. At most, you were a sucker. I could hardly believe I'd done such a thing. Suppressing my nausea, I went over it again. So I spent money and effort making her famous. Then she turned around and dated her childhood friend. She got both love and a successful career, while I got nothing. Not exactly. Nuo patted my shoulder. At least you got a mountain of bad press. Right, fine. That was one spectacular investment. A week passed. The internet was still full of abuse. I'd figured it out. Fans take after their idols. They all like that kind of ungrateful person anyway. So I would let them have her. Besides, Shen Youchu was driving me up the wall, and I had no interest in this nonsense. After I was discharged from the hospital, normally carefree Shen Youchu acted like she'd gone mad. She went nowhere except the office, and followed me around every day. Even to work out, she used the gym in my basement, forced to sit beside her as she did Pilates and core training. I pressed a hand to my forehead. Shen Youchu, my dear girl, you follow me around every day. Do boyfriends number 1 through 8 not mind? During a break, she turned to look at me. Her captivating eyes were soft as water, with a teasing half smile. Of course they don't. I may have plenty of admirers, but Fang Yuan comes first. Everyone knows that. Alright, to make sure you don't forget me, it's my turn to test you. How did you spend your 18th birthday? Once she learned that I truly had amnesia, but had forgotten only Zhou Ruyan, Shen Youchu dragged me to several hospitals, until doctors confirmed it. At first, she looked as relieved as if a great burden had lifted. But somehow, it turned into her asking me every 5 hours whether I still remembered her name. Ever since I could remember, we had grown up together. It was hard to imagine forgetting even Shen Yuchu's name. What use would my brain be then? I answered carelessly. I remember. The college entrance exams were coming up. My sister wouldn't let me go skydiving. So, you secretly took me to Dubai to do it. Afterward, your mother beat you senseless, and you were bedridden for 2 days. The details rolled easily off my tongue. A jolt went through me. Some memories truly never fade, even after all these years. That almost soul-rending feeling of leaping from a great height abroad, loss of control, and weightlessness remained vivid. Just as vivid was the defiant young Shen Youchu. A strange feeling rose in my heart. When had it begun? When had that reckless little girl grown into a woman blessed by fate in every conventional sense? Seeing how clearly I remembered, she smiled in satisfaction. Then she muttered, so, did you forget the person you loved most? Or hated most? How can you remember me so perfectly? But there she went again, I was the one in the car accident, yet she seemed to be the one with brain damage. Just then, my phone rang. Without even checking the caller ID, I answered as if it were my savior. The caller's tone was far from respectful. It even sounded like an accusation. Mr. Fang, I heard you were fortunate enough and were well on the mend, but we still haven't received the invitation you promised for the role in director Gao's new film, so I am calling to confirm. Did you forget because you were busy? Who are you? Who do you think you are? Ordering me to work. The caller fell silent. Mr. Fang, I'm Zhou Ryan's manager. Don't know you. I realized I had not only forgotten Zhou Ryan, but everything and everyone connected to her as well. Mr. Fang, are you backing out on us? To be honest, our team has placed great importance on this opportunity. We cleared nearly our entire schedule for the second half of the year. Well, I laughed in disbelief. What does that have to do with me? The manager clearly hadn't expected that response. What did you say? My patience was running out. I said, I have nothing to do with Zhou Ryan. This is my private number. Do not contact me again. Over her shocked cry, I hung up. The moment she heard Zhou Ryan's name, it was like Shen Youchu had been triggered by a keyword. She rose from her yoga mat and immediately came over. What's wrong? Did she upset you? Did that woman cause you trouble again? She had just finished working out. Her cheeks were flushed with a healthy glow, but her words carried a murderous edge. Shen Youchu, good girl, you're a true friend. I patted Shen Yuchu's shoulder, soothing her. It's nothing. I've lost my memory. What ripples could she possibly stir in my heart now? She's just a stain. I can wipe her away. In my life, I can afford to make plenty of mistakes. I withdrew every resource and opportunity I had given Zhou Ryan, but she had already made a name for herself in the industry. Even without my help, her career could still shine as brightly as the midday sun. Apart from losing director Gao's film, it barely affected her. When the matter came up, Anuo was indignant. She got off far too easily. If it weren't for you, someone without formal training like her never would have set foot in Beijing's film industry. I propped up my head, idly glancing at my wristwatch. Enough. She's just a passing stranger. I could elevate her or blacklist her with a single thought, but there is no need. Having power does not mean abusing it. Always leave a way out. That was the way my mother taught me to live. I kept it close to my heart. My phone rang. I answered it. On the other end was a woman's voice thick with alcohol. Fang Yuan, I want to see you. I recognized Zhou Ryan's voice, not because I cared that much about her. Her advertisements and news coverage were everywhere. It would have been hard not to recognize her, but I was curious. So what? I wondered how much I had indulged her in the past to make her think that Fang Yuan, was someone she could see simply because she wanted to. There was a pause on the other end. The woman's voice was slurred, but her hurt was obvious. Everyone online is saying, you don't want me anymore. Thinking of those comments, I lowered my head and turned the ring on my finger. I gave an unconcerned laugh. That's right. Your fans are very happy about it. I had unfollowed Zhou Ryan on Weibo. Her fans caught the scent of gossip and followed the trail, digging up the many brands connected to me that had ended their partnerships with Zhou Ryan. To that, the fans responded with universal approval. They celebrated as if it were a national holiday. That Jinx is finally willing to leave these poor lovebirds separated by distance alone. Boo-hoo-hoo. All you Xingyu shippers, come out and celebrate. Zhou Ryan, you made it through. You survived all those difficult days. Your path to stardom will surely be smooth and bright from here on. I am dying. Young master, want a new couple to root for? A grassroots actress turned best actress and a handsome Ivy League scholar, defying a powerful man's ruthless obsession and the distance between countries. Their love conquers every obstacle. You already love Zhou Ryan, so loving the Xingyu ship should be easy. You cannot lose by investing in this ship. Some major fans even held giveaways of 888 yuan in cash to celebrate Zhou Ryan finally escaping the spoiled young master's clutches. I honestly had no idea what they were so happy about. From beginning to end, they seemed not to understand how quickly the entertainment industry churned out new faces. Beauty was not a scarce resource. Power was. I was the one in the superior position in this relationship. I was also the one who could walk away at any time. I wasn't their beloved star's Jinx. I was her god of wealth. They did not understand that now. It didn't matter. Bored and with nothing to do, I got a mischievous idea. While Zhou Ryan was crying to me, I casually reposted a photo shared by a shipper of Zhou Ryan and Zhiqiang together. Imitating the comments section, I wrote, a heavenly, breathtaking couple, a flawless pairing. They belong together forever. I love it. Then I hit send. Since the fans wanted to see me root for the couple, I would gladly play along. It was also the perfect way to signal to the outside world that I no longer had Zhou Ryan on my mind. I liked things that were low cost and efficient. Zhou Ryan was clearly more clear-headed than her young fans. Judging by her tone, she seemed ready to cut ties with them. Those were the fans' ideas. Don't pin them on me. I am my own person. I clicked my tongue softly, thinking of those poor fans who had fought on her behalf. I felt sorry that their devotion had been misplaced, but remembering the vivid stories Nuo had told me about the past, I had once played that role myself. The thought made me deeply uncomfortable. Her voice continued, Yuan, I know you won't abandon me. You just forgot me. Could you try to remember what it felt like to love me? I promise I will do better than before. I knew Zhou Ruyan was an excellent actress. In fame and fortune arenas like show business and high society, truth and lies were impossible to separate. Everyone was acting. I couldn't be bothered to find out how much sincerity hid beneath those fawning pleas. The hour hand had reached 6. My personal trainer had already arrived at my home. I stood up and brushed the wrinkles from my clothes. Before ending the call, I decided to maintain some dignity. Let's part on good terms. Given the relationship between us, there is no need for us to meet again. Miss Zhou, I have always considered myself a good judge of character. I assumed, perhaps too confidently, that I once loved you. That meant you were probably intelligent too. But judging by your performance today, I overestimated myself and overestimated you. I stepped into the elevator and pressed F2 for the gym. My voice was calm and flat. Life is too long for me not to allow myself a few mistakes. But whatever reason once drove me to chase after you, at least today, I can tell you this. You're out. After that call, Zhou Ruyan never appeared in my life again. Not because she stopped contacting me, but because I refused to allow it. Between us, there had always been an insurmountable divide. I had simply been blinded by love, willing to use my dignity and sincerity as stepping stones. After such a confused and absurd experience, I was even more disillusioned with love. Aside from Nuo, a few close friends, and Shen, Youchu occasionally dragging me out for fun, I devoted myself entirely to work. It was the weekend. The weather had turned cold. I decided to pick out a few well-fitting coats and buy a few extras to qualify for a new watch. I never expected to run into Shen Youchu at Hermès, with a handsome young hunk beside her, though she had become known for her romantic escapades over the years. This was the first time I had seen her out on a date with a man. Nuo once said I had a reassuring, wholesome face. Then this young man was practically a triumph of technological progress. I recognized him. I had heard my assistant mention him. He was a well-known connections-backed celebrity in the industry. He had slept around to climb the ladder, so his reputation was hardly spotless. Shen Youchu had spotted me early on. When it came to picking me out of a crowd at a glance, Shen Youchu was unquestionably an expert. Her greatest achievement was finding me in the background of an aerial photograph with more than 1,000 people in it. I was dumbfounded and asked why. She refused to tell me. She only smiled and sent me a song by Fang. Because of love, her expression remained perfectly normal. She raised her hand and waved at me with a smile. Fang Yuan, you're shopping too. Shen Youchu had always smiled like that, but today, the neat row of dazzling white teeth caught my eye and irritated me for some reason. My dress shoes tapped against the floor as I slowly walked over to her. The young man recognized me immediately and greeted me nervously. Mr. Fang. I nodded. A salesperson took the young man to a private room to look at bags. I felt an inexplicable urge to vent some malice. Is he your new boyfriend? Half reclining on the sofa, Shen Youchu curled her lips. Still wearing that teasing expression, she asked, why do you care? Are you jealous? Shen Yuchu's voice was soft, but her words landed in my heart with inexplicable weight. Jealous. Jealous of Shen Youchu. That was utterly absurd. I suppressed the turmoil in my heart and casually accepted the season's latest item from the salesperson. I hid every emotion beneath my lowered eyelids. Shen Youchu. Uncle Chen has always hoped you would start a family soon. With so many women fluttering around you. Don't disappoint second madam. Besides, that young man's reputation is mediocre. Your taste is terrible. She let out a sigh. The sparkle in Shen Yuchu's eyes faded. She said something, but her muffled words dissolved into the music. I was looking at clothes and did not catch it, though I had the feeling she was insulting me. What did you say? She rose leisurely, tapped my forehead, and said, let's have dinner together tonight. Clutching my forehead, I shot her a glare. What about the guy you brought shopping? She shrugged. Her voice was casual. I've told you before, out of all the men out there, Fang Yuan comes first. It was not until one sleepless night that I finally understood. She had apparently said, stupid man, your taste is even worse. Life carried on at an unhurried pace. I was dragged into the so-called star-moon pairing again. Half a year later, Zhou Ruyan's long-cherished love, Zhiqiang, had completed his studies and returned home after graduation. The first thing he did was appear on a national career competition show. Zhou Ruyan was a panelist on the show, while my mother was its title sponsor. With a setup like that, it was no wonder netizens let their imaginations run wild. Guys, I am crying. Fang Yuan said he ships the couple, and he really put his money where his mouth is. Who understands the weight of an exclusive title sponsorship? Oh no, the young master really is in love. If I cannot have you, then I will love the pairing you support. This love is on another level. Others went even further, eager to stir up more drama, and tagged the production team beneath its official post. At this point, is the show really not considering inviting Fang Yuan to appear? It is fine if you do not love me. Then watch me choose your beloved for you. What kind of love triangle chaos is this? Anuo sat beside me, vividly reading the comments aloud. It made me want to laugh. What state of mind were they in? To think my mother's company sponsoring someone had anything to do with me. For one thing, she is a businesswoman, driven by profit. This show had drawn enormous attention from the start. Sponsoring it was a perfect chance to promote her company. The family business had always been meant for my useless older sister. If that were not the case, why would I have built my own business and worked myself to the bone? After scrolling through the post, Anuo put away his phone and concluded firmly, Zhiqiang wants fame. He did want fame. Using his status as Zhou Ryan's long-cherished love, along with the prestige of graduating from an elite university. Even before joining the show, he had created plenty of hype for himself. I looked up from my work and hummed with interest. Zhiqiang seemed formidable. At the very least, I admired his ambition, just as I expected. On the show, Zhiqiang performed with great professionalism, leaving nearly everyone else in the dust. In the end, he unsurprisingly caught the eye of a business leader. After the show ended, he got his wish and joined one of the nation's leading new energy vehicle companies. Its owner, Mr. Liu, kept him at his side constantly. The degree of trust placed in him spoke for itself. As for the part that surprised me, Anuo could not make sense of it either. What is wrong with Zhou Ryan? She pined after Zhiqiang for so long, and now that you have stopped giving her the time of day, and her fans support this match, she is the one desperately tearing down the pairing. No one knew what was going through Zhou Ryan's supposedly brilliant mind. From the beginning, the show had promoted Zhou Ryan and Zhiqiang as its main draw. After all, their history was an open secret. Zhou Ryan's refusal to bow to money for Zhiqiang had been celebrated as a love story in show business. But not long after the show began, Zhou Ryan dropped a bombshell. Facing the host and the other panel members' overt and subtle teasing, she actually kept a straight face and explained in all seriousness, I think everyone may have misunderstood something. After my parents passed away, they entrusted me to Zhiqiang's parents. Zhiqiang's parents are wonderful people. They treated me like their own daughter. In a sense, we are no different from real siblings. As the older sister who grew up with him, I truly want to see Zhiqiang excel in the field he loves. But between us, beyond the affection of siblings, there is nothing else. Those words caused an uproar. The first ones hurt were, of course, the show's pairing fans who had been wildly shipping them before it even aired. The most common comment was, Zhou Ryan, how dare you play us? Damn you, we have shipped you two for years. And now you tell us you are like siblings? Why did you not say so sooner? Zhou Ryan reposted only that comment. She wrote, I did not understand my own heart before. Someone once said, life is short, and we must allow ourselves to make mistakes. I may never learn to be as free-spirited as he is. But I think it is never too late to see one's own heart clearly. It is never too late. Though she did not name anyone, the implication was far too obvious. Anyone could see it. Zhou Ryan wanted him back. This was likely the first time Zhou Ryan, who had always enjoyed a good reputation in show business, suffered a public backlash. We have defended Zhou Ryan against Fang Yuan for so long. She is not going to turn around and chase him now, is she? I feel like the fool who helps a childhood friend trash his ex, gets dragged into a mess, then sees them the next day, showing off their love on social media. I am no longer a fan. Pairing fans are such goddamn idiots. Legendary childhood sweethearts still cannot beat the power of money. To be fair, Fang Yuan is far more handsome than Zhiqiang. Zhou Ryan's groveling quest to win Fang Yuan back. Zhou Ryan and Fang Yuan are rumored to be back together 3 hours after those topics began trending. I was away on business when I heard Shen Youchu had been in the gym, nearly beating a punching bag to pieces. When she came out, the trending topics had vanished without a trace. I heard you had all the trending posts about Zhou Ryan and me removed. What is it? Jealous. When I returned from my business trip, Anuo embellished the story as he told me that Shen Youchu had flown into a rage over a man and beaten a punching bag apart, scattering stuffing everywhere. I imitated Shen Youchu perfectly, throwing back the teasing tone she had once used on me. My tone was playful. Actually, I knew that was definitely not why. I had simply loved competing with Shen Youchu since childhood. She was already tired of me. Why would she be wildly jealous over me? Shen Youchu stood by the pool table, a cue in her long, fair hand. With her head lowered, she carefully chalked its tip. A crystal chandelier hung overhead, casting a soft, warm glow. It outlined the clean lines of her profile. She raised her eyes to me. For some reason, I saw a hint of helplessness in her dark eyes. I know you want to beat me. You have succeeded. In this life, I will probably lose only to you. Fang Yuan, you are the death of me. Her cryptic words made the nearby Nuo look as though he had just learned some juicy gossip. Like an overexcited gossip hound, he pulled his girlfriend away. Shen Youchu seemed frivolous most days, but whenever it was time to get serious, she was never careless. She was probably one of those natural geniuses. Everything came easily to her. It made people forget that beneath her carefree, lazy exterior, she hid immense talent and ambition. I had always respected her abilities. My mother favored daughters over sons. With my useless older sister right there, she never acknowledged my abilities. I refused to believe I was inferior to a woman. That was why I saw her as my rival. I was always trying to compete with her. Naturally, that woman was Shen Youchu. After all, among the people in our circle, she was the most exceptional woman our age. If I was going to compete, it had to be with the best. Looking at her profile, I recalled a conversation I once had with Nuo. I had just watched the spoiled young master of the Su family blush as he told his mother he wanted to marry Shen Youchu. The old lady brushed him off with a single remark. The Shen family's girl is undeniably outstanding among your generation, but her heart is never settled. I even heard that recently some young man went to the Shen family claiming she had used and abandoned him. Son, if you marry her, you will likely suffer a great deal. The Su family's young master excelled at music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, and came from an exceptionally powerful family. Even I found him downright irresistible. Nuo and I sighed. Well, there goes another perfect match. How long is Shen Youchu going to keep playing around before she finally stops? Nuo stopped what he was doing and looked over at me. Do you think Shen Youchu could keep all those young masters at bay without ruining her reputation this badly? That amused me. I straightened up. You mean Shen Youchu did it on purpose? Shen Youchu already has someone in her heart. She has kept herself so chaste. What poor, innocent guy could never be accepted by the Shen family. In the silence, Nuo gave me a look that said it all. You only read stories about domineering chief executives falling for poor young men. You never watch childhood sweetheart romances. I shook my head solemnly. I do not. They make me picture Shen Youchu too easily. We are rivals. I cannot get into them at all. There are so many moments in life that seem ordinary at the time. Now, that conversation suddenly surfaced in my mind, and I found a different meaning in it. When I looked closely at Shen Youchu again, I could not believe I was somehow seen, and the girl I had joked around with since childhood and treated as an imaginary enemy. A hint of seduction. Guiltily, I looked away. Good lord, too much work really does make people twisted, doesn't it? The reaction I had when I first woke up and saw Ruyan told me all I needed to know. I had been far too busy lately, and had somehow developed strange thoughts about Shen Youchu. Clearly, this was a lonely man's problem. I decided to blow off some steam. So, 3 days later, someone arranged for me to meet several up-and-coming young actresses. I did not refuse. The man who organized it knew how to please people. He catered to my taste. Every actress he invited resembled Ruyan, with that slender, fair, cool beauty. These women were clearly more sensible than Ruyan and her fans. The moment I pushed open the ornate double doors, they all rose together. They rushed to greet me. Hello, Mr. Fang. For a moment, I was pleased. Unfortunately, the feeling did not last. These young actresses were certainly all lovely, but I realized that after spending so much time with Shen Youchu, my taste had changed. I used to prefer delicate, fair beauty. Now I preferred a healthy figure with definition. I looked around the room. Without even realizing it, I had subconsciously compared each of their faces to Shen Youchu's, and Shen Youchu outshone every one of them. Disinterested, I took my seat. Their peacock-like display of beauty held no appeal for me. Mr. Li, who had arranged the gathering, was a shrewd man. Seeing that, he came over, bent close, and asked softly, Mr. Fang, none of these ladies caught your eye. Your taste have changed lately. That is on me. Mr. Liu bent even lower. Mr. Fang, what type of young actress do you favor these days? The first person who came to mind was someone like Shen Youchu. But as soon as that thought surfaced, I found it rather funny. The confidence and uninhibited spirit Shen Youchu radiated from her bones were utterly unique. No one else could imitate them. At that thought, an idea I had never considered suddenly struck me. There were so many talented young men in the entertainment industry. Why should I be backing female stars? The idea intrigued me. I began considering it until Ruyan suddenly appeared. Ms. Zhou, I do not recall inviting you today. When Mr. Wang, the organizer, saw Ruyan, he jumped up in alarm. He hurried toward her, while looking back to gauge my reaction. I heard Shen Youchu had issued a strict order for my sake. Ruyan and I could never appear at the same event again. I did not know how Ruyan had forced her way in, but I had to admit, the contrast was brutal. This was a place for fresh young talent, though Ruyan's looks had once taken the entertainment world by storm. As I said, show business was full of beautiful new faces. No one was irreplaceable. Ruyan least of all. They say success makes people glow, but after the backlash and losing fans in droves, Ruyan looked far from well. Her face was drawn. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. Even her hair was carelessly done. If you told me someone looking like that was a top star, I would not believe it. Her fans probably would not either. Let go of me. Ruyan violently shook off the security guard's hand. The guards looked at me. I nodded, signaling for them to leave. I was truly curious. What stunt Ruyan had come to pull today? Fang Yuan, I heard you came here again. I could not resist the urge to come after you. I did not know what she had seen, but a faint glimmer rose on her pale face, a humble hope born of self-deception. I knew it. You do not find anyone else good enough. Yuan, these women resemble me, but none of them are me. You could never like them. Fang Yuan, it is all right if you have forgotten, but our past, I can help you remember it. Little by little. Do you know, it was here that you gave me your business card. My manager said that all these years, you had never personally given your card to any other celebrity. I have always been the most special to you. You have simply forgotten. Right. She had seen the business cards laid out before me. Like the little match girl lost in a beautiful dream. She had invented that story to convince herself. It sent a chill of disgust down my spine. Do you want Director Gao's opportunities so badly that you came here to put on this cheap soap opera? That is not it. Shen Youchu was breathless. Yet she spoke before Ruyan could. Fang Yuan, turn around. I turned around. Shen Youchu stood in the long, narrow hallway, watching me quietly. Perhaps it was because of the comparison, but beneath the dim lights, her face was breathtakingly beautiful. She had calmed down. She walked up to me with a somewhat dangerous smile. Mr. Fang, here to choose your harem. At 5'9", Shen Youchu looked down at me from her heels. Her stare made me feel inexplicably guilty. But then I remembered Shen Youchu herself had been surrounded by admirers for years. She was hardly a model of chastity herself. What right did she have to question me like this? So I answered righteously, work. Shen Youchu looked at me, smiled, and said, fine. Then she walked into the private room. At last, her gaze lightly settled on Ruyan. A ruthless edge suddenly entered her smile. The real thing is alive and well, right here. Yet you are still chasing her lookalikes. I thought, what a cutting accusation. So viciously sarcastic. I wanted to argue, but after thinking about it, she gave an angry laugh. Fang Yuan, I thought I only had to wait Ruyan out. I never thought you would look for a substitute too. Fang Yuan, I know you like beautiful women, but am I really that ugly? Shen Youchu was not ugly in the slightest. Quite the opposite. After racking my brain all night, I realized I could not name a single current top star in the domestic entertainment industry with a face like hers. I was certain of it. I had fallen for Shen Youchu. It troubled me. For the past 10 years, I had always considered her my greatest rival. And more importantly, her private life was even messier than my own schedule, but wallowing in romance was not my style. A person's energy is limited. Emotional turmoil would distract me from my work. After all, agonizing over whether a woman loved me or making money, I knew which mattered more. So, when I woke the next day, I got dressed and went to find Shen Youchu in her office. Mr. Fang, President Shen is in an international meeting. It should end in 20 minutes. Shen Yuchu's assistant respectfully led me to the reception room. That is fine. I will wait for her. It had been a long time since I had quietly watched Shen Youchu through the frosted glass. I saw her in professional attire, wearing a headset, focused intently on her meeting. It reminded me of something else. A few years ago, when Shen Youchu worked, she refused to wear formal business clothes. She attended even major meetings in sweatshirts and sweatpants. She always did things her own way. My ability is in my head, not in some suit or skirt. Though Shen Youchu was exceptionally capable, eventually the board began to object. Later, Shen Yuchu's mother, Annie Liu, came to me. She asked me to talk Shen Youchu into changing. I did not know why she had come to me, but I had to listen to Annie Liu. So I sent Shen Youchu a few photos of commanding women in suits. Then I casually typed 2 lines. What a cool corporate queen. I have realized formal wear really enhances a woman's presence. Shen Youchu, could you pull off this look? After that, she wore business clothes not just to work, but to dinner too. She practically wanted to wear them to the gym. That childish brat, Shen Youchu, really loved competing with me. As I thought about it, 20 minutes passed. Shen Youchu finished her meeting, turned her head, and removed her headset. Her serious expression faded. She looked at me strangely. Fang Yuan, why are you smiling so sweetly? Are you thinking about beautiful women in my office? My smile vanished at once. I looked at Shen Yuchu's annoyingly punchable face. Then I remembered that I liked her, and it